I have a bit of a beef, and so I'm going to raise it now. Assistant Secretary Connor, over the last 2 years, we have provided $82 million for the Army Corps WIFIA program to provide low-interest loans for local dam safety projects. The implementation for this program has been stalled. We have been clear, and I think to ignore congressional intent in this manner regarding how taxpayer dollars shall be spent is really not acceptable. My state, California, has 89 dams which are in less than satisfactory condition and would cause loss of life or significant economic damage if they were to fail. Dam safety has been a priority for mine as an appropriator since I've come to the Senate, and it's critical to millions of Americans who live near these dams. When will you finalize? Apparently, we have $14 million a year and a half ago there. So the question is, when will you finalize the program rules and get out these funds so we can start repairing dangerously deficient non-federal dams?
Madam Chair, thank you for your leadership in this area. It's a legitimate beef that you have. Absolutely. So we have a proposed rulemaking that we are in the final throes. I expect that within the next month or so, hopefully no more than 6 weeks, we will be in the Federal Register with that proposed rulemaking, which is the first step to setting up the program. The WIFIA program and enlisting the ability for private dam owners to repair and modify their dams, it's part of the resilience agenda that we need in this era of climate change. So it's another important tool. We're moving forward. And lastly, I would just note, we've lit a fire under ourselves because WIFIA is now in the President's budget for 2023. So we acknowledge the importance of the program. We've got to move forward and get it stood up to address all the reasons you just mentioned.
So I want to understand this. I have your word here that it's going to move.
You have my word. I'm going to do everything possible to move it through and get it in the Federal Register in the next 1 to 2 months.
Well, I accept that with thanks, so thank you. Senator Kennedy, you're next.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to point out that Senator Hoeven just called me. He is on his way. I'd like to, and if we could indulge him for a few minutes, because I know John has some questions he wants to ask. I wanted to ask one of my colleagues a question. Senator Hyde-Smith, I listened with interest about your situation in Mississippi. As I appreciate it, the Corps wants to go forward and the EPA won't?
Pretty much correct that that's what has happened. The EPA is the one that put the brakes on, and we had signed the MOUs. We had done everything, and the science was very, very strong. And the amazing thing is the two different sets of scientists with EPA and with the Corps have not sat down. And I think that is critical. Am I correct, Daniel? They have not sat down together, and I don't know why that has not happened. But I really, really would like to see that happen. And thank you for the discussion, because literally a lady who was pregnant died because of this flooding. And, you know, we talk about wetlands, we talk about everything else. 6 months, these houses were underwater, this property was underwater, 6 months. And, you know, I talked to so many people who were living in hotel rooms, who were living with relatives in the back of businesses that people allowed them to leave. These people cannot afford hotel rooms and other areas like that.
Well, can I ask, why haven't the two sets of scientists talked? Or they have these things called telephones at a minimum.
Sir, so our team from Vicksburg and the scientists have sat down and compared data. What may be happening is...
with EPA and with the Corps, yes, the two sets?
Yes, ma'am. What may be happening is new staff that have come in within the past several months of the past year, but we will pack up this afternoon to go meet...
Directly into the mic. It's hard to
Yes, ma'am. So my parting comment is we will pack up this afternoon and meet with any scientist from any federal agency or state agency that would like to compare notes on our data.
Yeah, the Corps is very willing. EPA is the one that we can't get to seem to get as interested as.
Senator, can I just add very
Yeah,
quickly?
yeah, but let me put a finer point on it. Here's what I'm missing. The Corps spent a lot of time and money doing this project, on this project, did its studies, decided there's no damage, no damage to wetlands. The leadership at EPA changed. One of the leadership's priorities is environmental justice, and the EPA is saying, in the name of environmental justice, we're going to hold up on this project, even though this project will help people who happen to be 70% African Americans. Am I missing something here?
I would just add, I don't speak for EPA, but I have spoken to Administrator Regan and Assistant Administrator Fox. They are strongly committed to getting their team with our team as part of this interagency group. I think the administrator was particularly moved by his visit down to the Yazoo Basin, so frustrating, yes, but we're going to get together.
When's your administrator going to make a decision?
Well, we've got to get the teams together and not just have them meet and explain the differences. We as leaders have to reconcile those differences so we can make a decision about the project that can move forward.
Well, how about next week?
We're getting together, our interagency group, tomorrow at the leadership level and having yet another meeting. And the goal is to then focus the issues so that we can get our teams to get into those details
Right,
so we can
I'm
recommend.
just trying to get a timeline. The Corps spent a lot of time and money. It says we're ready to go. It's passed all the studies. The scientists say go. Y'all have because of the change in leadership, have said, nope, we're holding up. And we got to make a decision. When? I'm just asking a simple question. When are you going to make a decision?
As soon as we can.
And when
I
is
don't.
that?
That's hopefully we're going to be working on this all year.
It's going to take a year?
Well, it's going to take some time to reconcile the differences between the agencies.
Why?
Because there are disagreements about the science. We as leaders can convene folks, we can focus the issues, but we've got to have that dialogue, and that's going to take a little bit of a time.
I don't understand why. I don't get it. I don't understand why you can't put the two scientists together, lock them in a room, give them some coffee, give them a few honey buns, and say, okay, here over the next 8 hours, work this out. I don't get it. That's the way the real world works. Why can't you do that?
Well, we are going to do that. Whether
When?
whether the 8 hours is what it's going to take, or
All right,
whether it's
maybe
going to
it'll take
take
a couple of
24
days.
or 48 of intense dialogue, I don't know the answer to the question. I just know that we're committed to forcing that process to happen and coming up with a project.
You understand why people get frustrated with
Absolutely.
government? Okay? I can't even, I mean, I'm just asking for a decision. I'm not telling you what decision to make. I just don't see why you can't do it within 6 weeks.
I understand the frustration. I'm part of a committed team that's going to get to a decision, Senator.
Okay, thank you. Thanks again for all your good work, gentlemen and ladies.
And 6 weeks would be great.
Okay. Senator Hyde-Smith?
Sure.